By the time Karen Blackwell had turned my family's old ranch into her fancy gated community playground, I'd already discovered I owned the underground rights to every single one of those overpriced McMansions she was so proud of. Talk about a plot twist that hit harder than a grenade in a foxhole. But hey, let's rewind a bit because this story starts with me knee-deep in mud overseas, fighting for Uncle Sam when I get that gut-punch phone call. Yeah, imagine dodging IEDs in the Middle East for 18 months, missing my grandpa's funeral, only to hear some HOA queen bee has swooped in and legally snatched 1,200 acres of our Harlan Ranch, land that's been ours since the Dust Bowl days, where my Purple Heart grandpa poured his soul into every fence post and barn beam after Korea. Sold dirt cheap while I'm out there bleeding for the flag, and now strangers are bulldozing over our family plot like it was just some forgotten dirt patch. Man, that rage boiled up inside me like nothing I'd felt in combat. A deep personal betrayal that made me question if home was even worth coming back to. I land back stateside, jet-lagged and still in my fatigues, pulling up that familiar gravel drive expecting open fields and that crisp mountain air from our spring-fed pond, but instead, it's surveyors everywhere. Orange stakes stabbing into the ground like enemy markers, and the air stinks of fresh paint and diesel. Worst of all, they've chained off our little cemetery, Grandpa's headstone staring back at me through that rattling fence. And that's when I meet Karen for the first time, standing there in her pristine yoga outfit, clipboard in hand, smirking like she'd just won the lottery. Veterans and their tax troubles, huh? Should have planned better, soldier, she says without even a hello, shoving papers at me that scream fraud. Fake delinquency notices my bank swears never existed. And as I stand there, uniform still dusty from the flight, she adjusts her fancy shades and adds, "This is progress, darling. Not everyone's cut out for civilian rules." Her voice dripping with that fake sympathy that masks pure venom, like she got a thrill from kicking folks when they're down, especially a broken vet like me who she figured couldn't fight back. Inside, I'm seething. This wasn't just land. It was my grandpa's legacy, the place where he taught me to ride, to fix fences, to stand tall. And now this power-hungry suburban tyrant, who probably never dirtied her hands a day in her life, was twisting the knife because, deep down, I later learned, she hated outsiders like us. Ranch folk messing up her perfect view with cattle smells and rooster crows, her whole empire built on manipulating rules to line her pockets and crush anyone in her way. She didn't stop at the land grab. Oh no, Karen escalated like a bad movie villain, filing a bogus restraining order claiming I'd threatened her with tactical aggression. Total BS. But the local judge, who golfs with her hubby, stamps it without blinking, suddenly banning me from half the county, including my own remaining 600 acres. Then come the cameras pointed at my house 24/7, neighborhood app posts painting me as the unstable vet with PTSD rages that endanger kids. Hell, she even hosts these safety seminars, where she whispers about troubled elements invading their bubble, her perfume choking the room as she stirs up fear to isolate me further, all because she saw me as a loose end that could unravel her scams. It hurt, man, deeper than any shrapnel, coming home expecting peace, only to fight a war on my doorstep, doubting my own sanity some nights, staring at Grandpa's old photos like he was whispering, "Dig deeper, kid, the truth's buried where they least expect." And that's when the fire lit, military training kicked in, patience and strategy over rage, and I drove hours to the state archives, scraping my last bucks for gas, pulling dusty files that revealed the gold. Proof our taxes were paid, rerouted by some clerical error to create the fake debt. And get this, her emergency sale jumped the gun by weeks, violating every rule because greed made her sloppy. Enter Emily Reyes, this sharp property lawyer who takes my case pro bono after her own dad lost his farm to similar crooks. She's got that quiet fire, the kind that builds cases like fortresses. And we uncover the HOA wasn't even legit, never filed proper papers, operating as this shadow government collecting fees they had no right to, with Karen siphoning cash straight to her Blackwell beautification side gig, $150K in kickbacks from community upgrades that never happened. But the real bombshell? Grandpa had quietly bought the mineral rights under all 40 of those Oak Ridge Estates homes back in '58 for peanuts, thinking oil might hit. Turns out, he owned the literal ground beneath their foundations, worth millions now. And as Emily lays it out, "Jake, you could make 'em move every brick if you wanted." The implications sinking in like sweet revenge, my heart pounding with that mix of justice and hesitation because, yeah, I wanted payback, but not at the cost of innocent folks caught in her web. Things ramped up. Karen sues me for harassment, claiming my cows were weaponized threats, which had me laughing through the fury, her lawyer barking in court about dangerous livestock incursions like we were in some spy thriller. But we counter hard, exposing her embezzlement from the community pool fund, that slimy green mess she'd billed $25 Kia to fix while pocketing it all. Sabotage hits next. My well cracks mysteriously. Fences sliced clean, letting cattle wander onto the highway. One old heifer from Grandpa's line killed by a truck at dawn, and Karen's on the news spinning it as my negligent PTSD oversight. Her eyes cold as she says to the camera, "We can't have unstable elements endangering families," but I recorded everything. Her bribery attempt in the lot where she whispers, "Take $400K and go find a quiet cabin vet. Suburbs aren't for folks with your issues." Her fake concern masking terror as her empire cracks. Allies emerged, turning the tide. Betty Hawthorne, this sweet retired nurse next door whose late hubby helped draft the original HOA rules, finds yellowed papers proving land grabs were forbidden, and she starts a whisper network. Her bridge club turning into a spy ring where wine loosens tongues, catching Karen bragging about forging docs. Then Mike Donovan, a grizzled Navy vet with a lawn so perfect it got fined for over-uniformity, pulls me aside at the feed store. "That woman's nuttier than squirrel chow, Jake. What's the plan?" We rally workshops at the library, teaching folks their rights, the room filling week by week as fines for tomato plants and holiday lights, push residents over the edge, Betty facing foreclosure over $30 in dues while grieving her man, her voice breaking as she says, "Grief's no excuse for bills, per Karen. But we're done being her doormats." Climax hits at the packed town hall. Vets lining the lot like an honor guard, flags waving, media buzzing. Karen struts in, offering half my land back for pennies with a smug, "Let's adult this out, soldier, before your antics bankrupt us all." But I stand, projector firing up those 58 deeds, announcing, "I own the dirt under your homes, folks. $38 million worth. And Karen, your confession tape's next." Betty hits play, Karen's slurred voice echoing. "Fooling clerks is child's play. Create a delinquency, snag the land cheap." Chaos erupts. FBI steps in, badges flashing. "Miss Blackwell, you're under arrest for fraud, conspiracy, embezzlement." Hands where we can see 'em, her screams of, "This is a witch hunt. I built this paradise," fading as cuffs click, deputies hauling her out past cheering neighbors, the vets saluting not her, but the wind, engines roaring like thunder as she vanishes into the squad car. She got 4 years federal time, coughed up $1.8 million restitution, assessor buddy jailed too, his cushy Oak Ridge pad seized, and I reclaimed all 1,200 acres, sold those underground rights cheap to the homeowners as a neighbor discount. No interest, because the real villains were the manipulators, not the duped families. Betty runs the HOA now with sunshine rules. Mike's vet groups help others fight back, and I built a retreat on the hill overlooking Grandpa's grave, married the librarian who dug those first files, adopted kids from a fallen buddy's family. Hell, we even started a fund sending military kids to college, turning pain into purpose. But here's the kicker that keeps me up sometimes. Was it all worth the scars, the doubt, the near misses that could have broken me? Justice felt sweet, yet I wonder if folks like Karen are made or broken by systems that let them thrive. Maybe we're all one bad break from becoming the villain in someone's story. What do you think? Ever dealt with an HOA nightmare that pushed you to the edge? Drop your tales below. Share if justice always wins or if sometimes the system's rigged. Like if this hit home, subscribe for more real talk triumphs. And let's chat about standing up without burning it all down.